Then at the end, I looked like some lady that worked at a bowling alley that smoked Marlboro Reds. So I was like, anyone have a cigarette?
Welcome to Ride or Rod. My name is Dougie Fresh, and to my left is Nick. This is the podcast where we talk about bikes, the culture, and everything in between. Let's get into it.
What's up, guys? Today we got Jeff in. So Jeff is our merch guy. He's got the mindset of business, and he knows what works and what doesn't work. And you got a really cool story behind yourself. Obviously, you didn't start doing the ink trend stuff.
Right.
Tell us who you are, what you do, and what you're about, man.
So I'm Jeff. I started my career in management actually at Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I know how to brew a nice pot of coffee sometimes. Learned that I hated working like 60 hours a week because I, started there as a regular person, worked my way up into management in like 2 months. Did that for like 4 years. Then decided I was going to go back to school. Became an optician. I was a specialty contact lens fitter up in Connecticut. Decided, okay, this is awesome, getting paid well, got into the optical end of it, and quickly learned that I didn't like working for people. So I decided I was going to pay off my college tuition, or my college debt, did that in 7 years, and retired from that field in 2017. From that point, I was recruited by Costa Del Mar here in Daytona, went to work for them as a Northeast Territory sales manager in the RX division. Did that for 3 years, and when they got bought out by Luxottica, I decided, okay, this is time to hop away from this and go full-time into my Lobo Lures business, which was manufacturing offshore fishing tackle. That led me into issues with screen printing companies. They dropped the ball on me, and I was like, you know what? I can figure this out. So bought a little printer and started printing stuff, and quickly it expanded. And in 2021, during the heat of COVID, Volusia County reached out to me and they're like, why don't you move Lobo Lures down to Florida? I'm like, all right, let's do it. So that's how I ended up here, and it's been an interesting road and working with new people. I lost a lot of clients in Connecticut, but coming down here has just been really interesting. Got to meet you guys. All right. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
I think it's pretty cool how businesses are formed based off of you saw like an issue with something and decided to, I could do it better myself. I think that's pretty interesting. A lot of people do that. I think some of the best things come out of it because, you're taking a crappy product and making something better.
Yep.
Yeah, you see the negatives and things, and I think my management background, running opticals, running Dunkin' Donuts, and then managing a whole territory gave me a new insight on things. And, one of the things that we do is we try to keep everything in-house as much as possible. And we, rather than people coming to us and saying, hey, I need you to screen print this, or I need you to make a T-shirt or something like that, we look at you as a partner. Because when you look at somebody like a partner, your initiative is to make them as much money as possible, make their job easier, but also for them to make you money. And as long as everybody has food on their table, it's great. And you're able to offer, ideas. A lot of screen printing shops are so stuck in their ways of like, nope, I'm just going to be behind a press, slinging shirts, slinging ink, which is cool. I mean, it works for some people. But we found success in partnering with people, like partnering with you guys and some pretty notable brands out there.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's awesome, dude. And that was one of the things that when I met you, you could just tell that you're a team player. It takes a village. And it's really cool to have people in a community that actually believes that. That's huge.
I just think it's awesome you went from donut balls to eyeballs.
Yeah.
To
That's true.
To slinging ink.
Slinging ink.
I was trying to think of another ball thing.
Balls? Yeah. I don't know about the balls.
Hanging out with the bobbers and the fishing.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
So you've talked, obviously, with the fishing game. You're known in the fishing world, off-sea or offshore stuff.
Yeah.
How long have you been fishing? Is that something you've done up north?
So I've been fishing my whole life. My father introduced me to it. The interesting thing about me is I was raised very poor. My dad's from West Africa. My mother's from Brazil. My dad's an entrepreneur at heart. He was dislodged from his home because of communism. So that's how he ended up here. And always taught me, hey, you got to work hard for what you want, and made sure that he kept us involved even when he couldn't afford it, which was really notable. I mean, my dad's my best friend, and I mean, you guys met him.
Yeah, cool guy.
He's always around when he's not in Connecticut.
Sure.
So fishing, I got into manufacturing fishing lures in a way to afford fishing because it's very expensive on the offshore game. And somehow I became influential in it because of the business I'm in. Manufacturing offshore lures, winning people a ton of money with our tackle, which is pretty cool. And we started seeing some of these big clients who spend a lot of money in the fishing game have these big boats, and they're business owners. Yeah. So we started tackling that too, and that's how Ink Trends
no pun intended.
Yeah, right. So that's how we got really started in the screen printing. Aside from doing it for my own brand, we started going on the outside of that.
Sounds like a lot of networking.
Oh yeah,
knowing the right people. Yep. That term, it's all about who you know. It really is. I mean,
absolutely
different situations, but yeah.
What business is your primary? Is it the screen printing or is it the fishing?
The screen printing surpassed the fishing business by far. The fishing business is fun. It's got really cool connections. I mean, some of the people that we rub shoulders with are, namestays and on TV and stuff, and that's pretty cool. But I would say the screen printing is, for me, the most fun because it's very creative. I get to work with you guys and other people and get all these ideas and just constantly on the edge of fashion, right? In your terms, we went out to California to find the best blank for you. Right. Like, we left Florida, went to Los Angeles, and scoured for the right T-shirt. And I think that's what makes us different than other screen printing shops.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Let's talk about Bike Week just ended. Let's talk about how that impacted your business a little bit. Did you see an influx of orders? Was it good or was it bad?
Aside from the traffic going home, it was good. Got to meet a lot of cool people. It was the first time that I went out to Bike Week with, like you guys introduced me to it, really. We've got a lot of ideas. Bike Week brings in a lot of money. Obviously, with your merch, we noticed that. And for me, it's meeting new people, right? And creating those relationships. And, as time goes on, as we become a staple in Daytona and with you guys, I think that we're all going to grow. Yep. Bike Week is, while some people, I'd like to say the older people look at it as a negative thing, I think it's one of the greatest things for the area because Daytona used to be an epicenter for tourism and spring break and all this stuff. And the biggest thing that we look forward to is Rolex 24 and Bike Week. That's what brings, I think, the most money to the town, and maybe Jeep Beach.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we saw, on a separate topic, we saw Daytona Beach during Bike Week. A lot of bikers came in. The statistics from that, I believe, were 20 DUIs during the whole Bike Week and 133 arrests. And that was the whole 7-day or 10-day period. The first day of spring break had 133 arrests.
Really? First day?
The first
day. I believe it.
Or more.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on the exact number, but I know that it was somewhere comparable to the entire Bike Week. So if that's an indication of anything, we all know that these dudes rolling in here from out of town with their fifth wheelers and, all their, some of them have 2-3 bikes that are, $40,000-$50,000 each. You think these guys are really coming into town to dine and dash and, destroy
cars on
destroy people's businesses and things like that? They're here to have a good time. Yeah, they might drink and say some dumb things to some of the bartenders and waitresses and stuff. But overall, everyone during Bike Week, for the most part, from what I saw, was just here to have a good time.
From my understanding, or from my viewpoint, they're super respectful. I mean, like, we hung out at Iron Horse one day, and I'm sitting at the bar, and I look over, and I'm like, guy's got a freaking $50,000 Rolex on, and the guy next to me's got a Panerai, and I'm like, okay, well, that's not the, that's not somebody who's coming here to create a headache.
Exactly. I'm sure back in the day, Bike Week had a different flavor. You know, actual bikers like clubs and stuff rolling in and maybe being a little wild and out of control. But nowadays, dude, it's doctors, dentists, optometrists, lawyers, you know, things like that. And, you know, just, I think they got to get rid of that stigma, you know, with the powers that be in the city and kind of embrace like, hey, this is a huge event. The people that come here are actually, you know, willing to spend money and help out our economy. Why don't we figure out a way to embrace that and build on it, you know? And,
oh, absolutely.
And I see the racetrack, it does it. They have all the vendors out there, and they have Supercross and King of the Bagger races. And then Ormond Beach, they're doing it. They have at Destination Daytona all the big vendors out there for Harley Davidson. DeLand even had their own bike week, the first weekend of Bike Week. So, I mean, what's the city of Daytona Beach doing? They could promote it more, maybe have some events that are put on by the city. Maybe I don't know what they can do. I'm not a city council member. I'm not the mayor, but
we're not politicians.
But
we're business owners, and
honestly,
we see it. Like,
yeah, it's a good opportunity, man.
Like
capitalize on it.
I came to spring break in 2002, and this place was booming. And then fast forward, they kick out spring break, they kick out MTV and all this stuff, and next thing you know, their hotels are coming down. It wasn't just spring break; they kicked out Tuner Bash, something back in the day with you know, I was in the car scene, and you know, these people come, they bring money, they spend money in the restaurants, and that's what supports the business. You know, without that, you know.
I think the vision for this area is they want to kind of make it higher class. They want to have, you know, big high-end like Louis Vuitton stores and things like that. Aston Martin is actually building a hotel over like more towards South Daytona on the beach.
Okay.
So when you get somebody, you know, a company of that caliber coming into town, you know, it's kind of wondering like, okay, what's next? You know, how big is this going to grow? What are they going to do to change the whole atmosphere? Because Daytona Beach itself, it's not like you're down in West Palm Beach.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a little bit more rugged.
Yeah, definitely.
Dirtona.
Dirtona. That's a good one. Like you were saying with Aston Martin going down there, you got Palm Coast that's putting Ritz-Carlton, you know, $1 million penthouses. And I think they're trying to make this area higher end. Daytona's just got.
But I mean, pushing out Bike Week, how is that going to decrease the value? If businesses are making money and people want to come here because there are things like that, I don't envision, you know, because they put up a couple new hotels and some stores and, you know, clean it up a little bit, that all of a sudden you're going to have people from the French Riviera coming out here and hanging out on Main Street. You know what I mean?
I think some of the, and I might be wrong, I think some of the old timers, like, you know, we look at Palm Coast, Ormond, Daytona, Holly Hill. Holly Hill is actually embracing Bike Week. That's what I've come to see. Palm Coast is a lot of old timers, right? And it's changing. There's no industry up there yet, but hopefully that's going to change soon. These people look at it as like, oh, the motorcycles are loud and yada yada yada. It's like, you know, I get complaints when I drive my car in my town. Like, I have some lady that comes every time with her cell phone. I saw you speeding down the road. The car has a video, like, you can go to it. I'm doing 25 miles an hour down the road, but my exhaust is extremely loud.
Sounds like you're going faster than what you are.
Yeah, and I get harassed by a Karen. It's great.
Gotta have Karens around, man.
No, we don't.
No,
I was coming home the other day from school. I was on my bike. I was behind a Karen, and she was just driving right next to another car going the same exact speed. And we've all been stuck behind cars like that. So I'm like just riding behind her, and then finally she like speeds up a little bit, enough for me to like finally get around her. And as I do that and I start going, she swerves at me like aggressively, and I'm like, whoo, and roll over to the right a little bit and then speed up and go. And in my head, I'm like, okay, was she trying to get over? Like, what did I go around her too fast and she didn't know that I was already next to her? But the fact that she did that and swerved back, and I saw the look on her face too. I kind of want to tend to lean towards the fact that she did it on purpose. But I mean,
sad.
Do not do that to a biker, because like if I was a newer rider, I could have overreacted easily and just completely, overcorrected and dumped it off on the side of the road or whatever. But that happens all the time around here. People are just don't like bikers in general.
We actually have a pretty sad story. We also own real estate, and in like 2013, we had a tenant who was a motorcycle rider, and in Palm Coast, I guess he was coming around and kind of came in another lane, and lady hit him, severed his leg, and she was too scared to get out of the car that he ended up bleeding out, and everybody just stood there watching. I'm like sitting there. We got the call. Like the wife was traumatic. She's like, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna have to move back. I think she was from like Indiana or something. And we were like, you can stay in the house as long as you want, no rent. But it was one of those things like in your case, you could have got really hurt. But in this case, this 20-something-year-old guy lost his life because people are just not smart enough, or I don't know if it's not smart enough, just didn't get out and take a belt off and make a tourniquet. This is common sense stuff. I mean, she let the kid bleed out, and it wasn't just her; it was somebody else too. They just stood there, and I'm like, how? No common sense, right?
That's the problem. A lot of people don't have that anymore.
It's getting so bad out there, dude. Yeah. See it every single day.
And when I drive, and especially during bike week, I am extremely aware of, especially on the highway too, right? Because you get people who ride cruise, then you get, it usually seems to be like the street bike, or the what do you guys call them? Crotch rockets?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, crotch rockets, and they're like darting in and out of traffic. And there's times like this time I was with my wife, and my wife was like, "Oh my God, we almost just hit him." I was like.
Honestly, when I'm cruising and I'm on the freeway and I'm passing cars and stuff, it might look crazy to you guys, but in my head, I'm like paying attention to the car. I'm looking in the mirror at their eyeballs, looking to see if they're going to be making any movements or lane changes. And I go around them and, in the area that seems safest to me as fast as I can, usually most of the time, because every single time when I'm riding the speed limit, the cars are doing that to me instead.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's either they're coming up on my ass or, they're coming into my lane or they're like fighting with each other in front of me or behind me. And it's just like, I'd rather be the guy.
Clear it.
I'd rather be the guy just smashing home,
Yep.
And going around to everybody. And then, if I get pulled over or whatever, I mean, it is what it is. But I've been riding for a very, very long time. And
so that I get. But this is like, this one was flying up, and he had either the split-second decision, and you saw it. Like, there's obviously a car here, I'm here. Like, he slams on the brakes and cuts in front of me and doesn't, really, could have just, gone quick. But...
I mean, there are those cases where dudes are just racing and they got it pegged and they're just having a good time and not really doing it for a specific reason. They're just going,
Yeah.
And a lot of the times that they don't have enough time to react to a car that's slowing down or merge or getting on the freeway or changing lanes.
But during bike week, you definitely, as a consumer, as a car driver or truck driver, whatever, you really just got to keep your eyes alert because you never know.
That's this area in general because there's so many bikes here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So. At all times.
Like, people do not stop when they're pulling out of a side street. They just pull straight out and go.
Yeah, over here we got so many nice roads to drive, because cars, right? Mm-hmm. I love driving A1A. There's times where if I bring my car down to the shop, I'll drive A1A all the way back home. And that's, a lot of salt spray, but it's just a beautiful ride. And coming from the north, it's like paradise every time you drive.
Yep.
When we take that for granted, I know I've been here too long.
Sure. Yeah. Everyone, I was questioned all the time. Why would he move down there? It's hot. It's like, I don't want to sit in cornfields and have to go through a winter and freaking seasonal depression's real, man.
Oh yeah,
real.
I call
I'm just picturing Nick sitting Indian style in the middle of a cornfield.
I've done it.
Big old piece of corn in his mouth.
It wasn't in my mouth. It was in my hand. Fucking weirdo. What the hell? Who is this guy?
Yeah, no, it's like in Connecticut, it was like snow, cold and gloomy 6 months out of the year, and then my car would sit on a lift 6 months out of the year. My boat would sit out of the water for 6 months out of the year, and I'm like sitting there, I'm like, damn, this sucks. And then you see these people like down here in Florida just enjoying life, and yes, June, July, and August, whew, terrible.
Dude, it's like literally being in hell.
Yes.
That's how hot it gets here.
But
It's got to jump in water.
The water's hot too, dude. It's boiling.
But, it could be worse. It could be with snow and twigs.
True.
Exactly. And that's months. At least in Indiana. It's cold for a while. Like, it doesn't calm down.
Let's take a look at this website, dude.
Yeah. So, you're helping us, obviously, with the Shopify. We're going to have that set up soon. But currently, we're going through your website with a link. And we're going to pull it up here on the screen for you guys. Talking about quality and stuff like that. Because, obviously, before we even printed anything, we talked about quality and how it's important. And you got a background in this stuff. What makes our stuff stand out from just a regular print if you went up and got something printed?
Okay, so as you know, we started talking in September, and we didn't launch the brand not the brand. We didn't launch the merch up until, 5 weeks ago?
Probably. Yeah, right before Bike Week.
And, most people say, oh, let's throw that on a Gildan t-shirt. I don't think Gildan prints nicely. And it's just run of the mill. And then you also told me something about how, when you ride and you don't want your collar flopping around and stretching out. So we decided that we were going to take the time and research what other big brands were doing. We have a big brand that we do business with that's a major player in the sunglass industry, and we already work with a top tier blank for them. And so when we went out to LA, we looked at some of these, I don't want to say like hippie brands, but like these boho style, like
tie-dye kind of stuff.
Tie-dye, well, not tie-dye. It's like, just I'd say think of LA, and it's the epicenter of all these crazy T-shirts. And we talked to a bunch of people, and from super high priced, 100% made in the U.S., grown in the U.S. and all that stuff to stuff that's made overseas. We knew we wanted to stay out of China because they've got terrible quality in terms of one day a small will fit a person, and the next day I'm looking at it, I'm putting it on the press, and I'm like, well, that looks like it's toddler size.
You don't have no idea how many shirts my wife has of mine that have shrunk.
Yeah.
Or consistency is terrible. Yeah. So we happened to just come across this one company, and nobody was really talking to them because they didn't have a hip, booth or anything. But the guy was just a nice guy. He says, hey, what are you looking for? I says, well, I'm looking for a quality blank over 6 ounces. He goes, I got something for you. Walks to the back, comes out, and these blanks are sitting on the backside of a rack. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I want. Yeah. I was like, let's talk. Send me some samples so I can show my guy. Because originally we were looking at another LA brand that's cut and sewn over in Mexico and then brought over. But they were super expensive, and this shirt ended up being ideal. They allow us some customization. So say we wanted to do, specifically a what do you want to call it? A specific ounce. Say you wanted, like, I want 7 ounces, and I want the sleeve to be more what they're doing in like Europe, where the sleeves are all the way down here. Yep. Short sleeve. You can do that with this company. So there's a lot of customization, and
the sleeves are getting lower and the shorts are getting higher.
Yeah,
basically,
and tighter.
Yeah.
Assless straps tight. Sorry,
they're all assless.
It's a biking world,
I got taught that once. I got yelled at. Gay dude. But so our shirts up here, these are 6.5 ounce.
6.5 ounce mineral wash, so they're super soft.
Yeah.
Printed here in Daytona.
Yep.
I think we're discussing possibly doing a live printing event next round. So that's going to be cool. Right now, we've kind of got this mix. We've been talking about, based on where your sales are coming from, we're talking about bringing in some hoodies.
Yep.
Even though you're a Florida brand, we definitely want to have hoodies because a lot of your merch went Maine, Washington, Indiana, Illinois.
Dude, it gets cold here, man.
A lot of north.
Hoodies sell.
Yeah. Night riding, man.
This was the longest winter we've had in a long time.
Yeah. It was nice.
And it was the coldest winter in history in Florida, like this last December.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Got down to like 73.
It's tough.
And then we, banners. We made some banners for the garage, and I said, you know what? If we got one hanging in the shop,
Got one hanging up behind you.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yep.
We decided, okay, well, why not put the banners up on the website? Because we got the patriotic aspect of it. You're a veteran and stuff, and I said, this is going to be a good thing. And one of the things that we do that's different than I say a lot of screen printing shops is we bounce ideas off you. I mean, you're getting text messages from me at 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, oh crap, man, I'm so sorry.
I send them to you too.
Yeah. So.
But the ones you send are like, what are you wearing?
Don't bring up the nail polish either.
Oh gosh, yeah. First time I meet Doug, I got pink nail polish on.
Like Nick, dude. Who's
this guy?
I'm sure his name's Jeff.
Shows up and he's like,
Not Jess.
It's not our type of people we're going. I'm like, no, I swear, my daughter literally painted my nails the night before.
It's all good. So, but yeah, for our shirts, they're not going to stretch. They're not going to shrink when you dry them.
Yep.
My biggest thing, like you said earlier, is when you're running down the road, and I hate when my collar gets loose. I'll never wear that shirt again if it stretches out. And I've washed mine and worn mine multiple times. I haven't had any issue with it yet.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
The mineral wash one is extra special thick.
So comfy.
I love that shirt, yeah.
My wife wears it, and she's not a biker. She's just like,
you don't have to be a biker.
She's like, I love this shirt.
Yeah.
That's one thing about Ride or Rot. You could be a biker, a trucker, a boater.
Yep.
If you ride something, a unicycle.
Even not ride, it's just ride life. Get out there and fucking live it.
Ride the wave.
Yeah.
So
surfers, everybody.
So the way I perceive your brand, because we've worked with a lot of brands, your brand isn't just, it's a lifestyle brand. That's how I view it. And lifestyle brands become super successful because, the nice thing about you is people see you in public and they're...
Sorry.
Oh, you broke every rule.
It was the alarm.
You broke every rule.
I can edit that out.
I heard that. That was
He hit the desk. Hit the desk. Alarm.
Fire me.
But like, you're a lifestyle brand, right? So it crosses over to jet ski riding, boat riding, like you said, automotive. Brands that we see come and go in our industry are brands that are like, oh, I'm going to be strictly this, and I'm going to target that community.
Yep.
Give you a good example, Lobo Lures. What's an offshore tackle brand? But we're only competing for 2 million fishermen, big game fishermen. If I delved into the inshore community, that would add another 60 to 75 million fishermen. So that's why brands like Bahio Sunglasses, they're a sunglass brand that caters to all fishermen, but their target market is, the outdoorsman.
Yeah.
Fly fishing, bass fishing. And I believe that they cross over into the motorcycle world because they got the best polarized sunglasses out there. So
you heard the man.
I think we should reach into the college students and change it to Right or Rot.
Right? We can sister brand right. Hey, sometimes when I do my voice text, it does put right or rot. I've sent that to companies.
The universe is telling you something.
it's so much a lifestyle brand that y'all made me a rebel.
You are a rebel.
I can tell, dude.
Well, he ended up on a list.
Yeah, now I'm on Homeland Security's list because, I went to go deliver the shirts to you guys. So I
Talking about during Bike Week?
Yeah. So I decided that I'm going to go to the shop, grab some merch because I didn't want you guys to come with your bikes and put them all in the bike. I said, I'll deliver them. So I had to drop off a car at the airport for my dad. And I decided I take my military green book bag with my receivers for videography. And it's on the side. They're on, so they got the little red light blinking. Didn't realize that. And I take the 4 bins of merch, put them in my wife's car, and drive away. My dad doesn't notice that that's my book bag, and he drives the Jeep away because he comes in. And, well, I'm at the venue where you guys are, and my wife gets a call from Homeland Security. We need to speak to your husband. And I'm thinking, okay, my brother's in the military.
So your bag was left
in the parking lot at the airport. So this gets even crazier. So I'm like, oh, I'll call him back, babe. They probably need to do my brother's security clearance or something like that. And she goes, I don't know. You should call him back. All right. I call him back. And then I'm like, hey, how's it going? I'm Jeff. I'm so glad you called. My name's Agent Kyle something from Homeland Security. I was like, oh, okay. Is this in regards to my brother, like security clearance? He's like, what was your business at the airport? I was like, well, I was dropping off a car for my dad. He goes, you closed down the airport with a bomb threat.
Is this the Orlando airport?
Daytona Beach.
Daytona Beach.
So
during bike week.
So
there's something going on.
all incoming and outgoing flights were delayed because of me.
Oh shit.
So he's like, yeah, you gotta, Volusia County Sheriff's probably not happy with you. I'm like, oh, I can only imagine. I'm shaking in my little space boots here. And so I go to pick up my bag, and the guy's laughing. He's like, your bag's cut up. I'm like, well, damn. And
sorry.
I was like, sorry. But yeah, so that's...
You're welcome.
Because of you guys, I am...
So you had receivers sticking out of it?
I had like a receiver and a transmitter for my video camera at the shop.
Red light blinking in a bag in the middle of the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a military-style bag.
Yeah.
That's funny.
They sliced it up. It's at the shop. I was like, do I throw it
They
out?
probably had the little EOD
Robot.
little robot guy come out and
I think they said that they did that.
Probably cost them $25,000 to roll that thing out there.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, man.
You made some kids cry because mom and dad didn't get home that day.
Probably.
They'd evacuate the whole airport too, probably.
I didn't even ask. I was terrified.
Dude,
I was like,
was it on the news?
no, I don't think so.
Dude, that was...
I don't think so.
I didn't hear about it, so...
Hey, you got some street cred, though.
Yeah, well-
That's more than street cred,
So
though.
you probably are on a list. They're probably like, well, he was probably just checking our response time and blah, blah, blah.
It was just so funny because I'm like, my business cards were in there, my car registration. He goes, yeah, that's how we knew it was you. I was like, oh. And he goes, we tried your old phone number, but you changed it. I'm like, yeah, I literally just changed my phone number from a 203 to a 904 recently.
Why is that, Jeff?
I just trying to cut my ties with Connecticut.
Yeah, I get it. I'm about to change my Indiana number down here.
That's insane, though. I'm still laughing about that on the inside. That's so funny.
My wife was like, that would only happen to you or your dad.
So nonchalant, too.
Yeah, I was like, crap. Like one time my dad goes through security in JFK, flies to Central America, is flying back, and they stop him in like Guatemala, and they're like pulling out his wallet. He had razor blades in his wallet. I'm like, why do you have razor blades in your wallet?
Yeah.
Why?
Like shavers?
Why did he have razor blades?
He owns a machine shop, so apparently he uses it for I don't know. So
Come on, Dad. We need an explanation.
When you're an old timer, dude, I guess maybe back in the old days, like you just need to have a razor blade. You never know.
Well, the funny thing is, my dad's name is apparently very similar to a drug lord's name. So my dad always gets the what do you call that? The anonymous check. It's never anonymous. Every time we go through security, they pull him to the side and it's like,
Come here.
We need to verify. What? Yeah.
That's just insane. You guys and your luck, man.
Us Portuguese, Africans, we have some bad luck.
Is there like another name for that, or like a
Portumex.
Pafrican?
Pafrican.
That's good. That's good.
I don't know. So because my mom's Brazilian, I'm a dual citizen of Brazil. So I couldn't go to Brazil till like now because of, I'd have to go into the military. That's pretty cool too.
Isn't that interesting that all these other countries require certain things of their citizens, yet
Over here we don't.
The kids in our country are like, what? I gotta make my bed? That's not right. Yeah. just snooty little brats these days, man.
Oh, you see it right. You see it right now with these people. These parents like, oh my God, my kids are gonna have to go to war. You signed up for the military. It's in the fine print.
Yeah, you kind of know what you're doing when you do it.
Little do they know your kid's probably excited about it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I get to do what I was trained to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know for me, when I was in the Navy, like whenever we got the opportunity to actually go do something, not just float around in the ocean, just training, it's like, okay, I feel like we're actually like being utilized for what we're here for.
Yeah.
it's also.
And plus, I never really thought if it was like good or bad what we were doing.
Yeah. You
know,
didn't
when
have
you're-
that mindset.
Yeah,
though.
when you're that age, you don't think about the politics of anything. You're just like, I'm in the military. If my government needs us to go somewhere, I'm going because they know better than me, you know?
I'm there.
Yeah.
No.
Well, on that note,
I'm biting my tongue.
He's like,
I'm biting my tongue. But, Jeff, thank you for coming out, dude.
it was a pleasure.
Yeah, dude. We got to do some fishing, though. I just spooled one of my reels today.
We do have to do some fishing.
Yeah.
There's some really good fishing out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been playing around under the Granada Bridge.
Yeah. I'm terrible at inshore fishing, but put me on a boat offshore, I'll catch you a big fish.
Teach me some stuff.
Teach
I
you how
don't
to
like being on the water.
Yeah, Navy people.
Did it for 22 years.
That makes sense.
It'd be cool if did you ever fish off a carrier or something?
Off the back of a ammunition supply ship.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah. And all you do, so basically when you're fishing off the back of a ship, you take a inner tube from a bike tire, and then you tie your fishing line to that, and then the bike tire is connected to the ship. So when the bike tire, the inner tube, when it stretches, then you know you got something on. So we were just out there trolling for mahi and just raking them in, dude. And you just slice them up right there on the back and have fresh sushi, or we'd send it into the
Mess
to
deck.
the mess decks, to the kitchen, and they'd slice it all up and serve it to the crew.
That's actually cool.
Yeah, but I mean that's a civilian operated ship. You can't do that on the back of an actual like Navy operated ship.
Yeah.
That makes sense because we had somebody that bought lures from us once, and they were taking a ship from Groton area down to the Caribbean or something, and they were allowed to fish, so they bought lures and they brought their rods. But yeah,
those ships that come out of there are like ammunition supply ships or oilers or something like that.
yeah,
Those are all merchant marines
yep. And then the other thing that
and submarines out of Groton, Connecticut.
Yep. There's
Lots of those.
Good old Connecticut.
We kept our boat up the Thames River, and we would offshore fish, and we'd have to go past I think it's General Dynamics, where they build the subs. And one time we cut it a little too close. They put their spotlights, because you leave when you're offshore fishing, you leave super early in the morning, and they just put their spotlights on. I'm like, yeah, they probably are going to blow us out of the water because we're too close.
You're definitely on a list somewhere, dude.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
It's crazy because you like look at places like, you don't realize this, but where we were in Connecticut was Sikorsky Aircraft, General Dynamics, Common Aircraft, all these big things that were big targets during like the early 2000s. I mean, when the World Trade Center went down, we saw the smoke trails at the beach. That's how close we were.
Wow. But yeah, guys, make sure you guys check out inktrendsco.com. We'll definitely have everything.
Inktrendsprintco.com.
Yeah, we made it extra long, so it's extra confusing.
It's a lot of work.
And it's trends with a Z.
With a Z.
It's the only thing I could get a domain and a...
Ink, trends, TRENDZ, printco.com.
You heard him.
Hit up Jeff if you need some cool merch for your business or for your kid's soccer team.
Soccer team, business, hats, everything.
Underwear.
Coffee mugs, banners, tents.
Everything.
Anything you need, he's got.
Thanks, guys.
Don't
Thank
forget
you.
to like and subscribe.
Yep.
Follow us and tell your friends. Get us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Spotify,
All the things. Apple, we're on everything. Well,
Kindle.
Kindle. We might be on the Kindle if you down. I don't know how that works. But we'll be back next Thursday.